But luckily, you know, the man, and they sold the cow to one of the butchers the morning. So on his way, in the early morning, when he run, a running run go, you know, the morning, fi go move the cow for in same mind telling Sandel. But when he called the cow gone, so I run back. Billy, if you, God, if you see him, you're dead. Me yes saying mad. Lord Jesus, God. Flores! Flores! I run back up here. The cow gone. He gone. They go. So I asked him when gone. That time, so Flores said inside one. For they are thief, you know. They come for king's son, come thief, go. Lord Jesus, Flores. But when he hear, he say, and they'll sell the cow. The same night he go upon the road with the butcher and meet the butcher. God in a favor. And he sell the cow and him pay. So he get the balance of money and come and come and the first money he work, well in throw partner. For not the first money he work. For you couldn't work no money. But he work the partner. And the first partner he get in send he go give.
So when Grandad came here to England, what year would that have been?
1916 September.
1916 September, sorry. So he came on his own at first. So then how long was it until he sent for the rest of the family?
He came here in 1960 September. And he sent from in 1961, the April.
Okay, so it was like a year had lapsed. What was it like for you staying back at home with the children when he came to the UK? What was that like for you?
Terrible. Terrible. But it wasn't too bad for him over here working, and he would send money, you know, like send. But you know, send like, he send me the Christmas. He come this September, and he send me money for the Christmas to buy shoes. Shoes for Mr. Shoes for Claude, shoes for you again. Junie. And shoes for Billy, shoes for... But you know, no one time for I know the money for send.
What sort of impact did it have on the children, do you reckon, when he went to the UK? Did they miss him a lot?
Oh, they miss him. They miss him for... They miss him a lot, but not like perhaps me, for they were only small. Claudette was the bigger one.
Okay.
And then there was Claude. So I don't know, but I know it been such a tearing away. You know, it's terrible. And then there was George, and there was Billy. For Billy was only about 4 when he came. Archie was 10 months. So they were only young, so you could imagine. But the best thing with it, I was still there with them.
Sure.
And Mama was there. But it was when I left, and Mama was there with her man, her husband. They suffered. My mother loved that man very much. Keith was going to school. They would send him to school, but like George, I don't think they would send George to school very much, because them go away up to the mountain, at their place, his place. And then he would want to take George there with him. Wish that would be all right. George would love that. But I don't know, you know, he ill-treated them. I don't know about that part, but I know they suffered. My mother suffered because he ill-treated my mother, beat her up and all them way. Even in front of the children, most of the time. A little after, Auntie Audrey and Uncle Claude come over. For Auntie Audrey wasn't well.
Okay.
And they sent her, they said it's best for her to come over. So she and Claude came.
Okay. Did your mum ever speak to you about how ill-treated she was by your stepfather at that point in time? I know you just mentioned then about she was beaten up and whatnot. Did she ever confide in you and tell you, or did you find out from other family members what had happened?
I heard, because one of the time when I was sending for her and so on, and when I heard of the ill treatment and I tried to send and get her, she denied it. That was the thing. It doesn't matter how much she was being ill-treated, she tried to deny it. And in the end, she denied it until the man thump her down and kill her. And she gone, and me no hear it out her mouth. I know when she was over here, she come back. First she come back twice, and when she come back again, she was saying how, all his pig and his goat, her goat, her pig, everything, while she was over here, he sold them off and all them sort of thing, and took away the money from her when it was being sent and all them sort of way. And he'll treat his children and all, which was with her. Oh Lord.
Okay. So if we kind of go back to, you came here, would it been 1961?
61.
Tell me about the day when you actually did you come to Manchester Airport? Which way did you come via?
I come to London.
London.
By plane.
What was it like for you then, living in Jamaica all your life, to touch down in the UK? What was it, Heathrow or was it Gatwick? What would it have been back then?
I think it was Heathrow.
Okay. What was your first impression when you stepped off the plane and you got to the UK from Jamaica?
Oh Lord, my dear son, it was foggy, because I came although it was April I came, it was fog, could hardly see your hand, and cold, and got off the plane, drive all night over the Atlantic, feel exhausted in the morning, just like to get somewhere to have a wash and sleep. But then, and seeing everybody come, some come to meet their people, and others looking and that. But we were divided out. The people that were going to Manchester were all divided out, because we were supposed to be going by train, you see. So everything was so different, and there were two young men that came with me on the plane that I was sort of responsible for. Not that I was responsible for solely, but they were from my district. And the parents had asked me to keep an eye on them. They were going to Birmingham.
So they weren't going to Manchester?
But we came on this, and I didn't know that we were coming on the same train. I don't know. I went on a train from London. And then I remember the taxi man have me driving round. And then I was supposed to get the train. And I kept saying, but you have driven me around this statue how many times? And he kept saying no. So I said, I'm supposed to be on the Manchester train. And then in the end, he just put me on the train.
So you got on the train eventually?
So I got on the train eventually.
Okay. And then you came to Manchester?
I came straight down to Deansgate, down to
Piccadilly.
Piccadilly.
Okay. And do you remember what you thought of the city when you first got off the train?
Oh my God, I didn't know. With me leaving the children, my breast was full with milk because I left Audrey when she was 10 months and I was still nursing her, so you could imagine the pain. Anyway, I came to Manchester and nobody was there to meet me, for a handler that had already told me that he would be going to work. He would be going to work 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. But he did send the money how I was to take the train at Piccadilly Airport. Not take the taxi from down at Piccadilly. And the taxi, where the taxi was going, it wasn't far, because I was going on to Upper Brook Street, 161 Upper Brook Street, from Piccadilly Station. So that wasn't far. Nobody was there, but when I come, I would go to 160, I would go to the shop across the road, and the lady in the shop, she was the landlord for the house. And then when I went there, the taxi dropped me there, and the lady took me and the taxi carried me across the road, because where we live was over on the other side.
Where did Grandad live in Manchester at the time? Where did you end up staying?
Well, when I came, Handel was living at Charlton and Medlock, which was near to Piccadilly Airport.
And what was that?
Near to Piccadilly Station.
What was that district like at that time? Were there a lot of Jamaican migrants or Caribbean migrants?
Manchester 13, and most of the people that live in where Handel rented was all West Indians, mostly Jamaicans, people that I knew, for I knew some of the people. And then the man that Handel left in the house to meet me, Master Rennie, lovely man, he would be there if I wasn't working. So he would collect me in when the taxi man came. And that was what he did. He collected me in and put me in my Handel's room until Handel came. So Handel didn't stay long. And then Handel came, and that was it. But after we stayed there, Handel, that was not the first place Handel came. For when he came, he went to Gorton, for he lived with Hallan in Gorton. And then it was when Hallan's brother, who was a traitor and all that way, that he moved down when there was an empty room at Bill. And then I got the room at Bill. And I stayed at Bill's house for some time until we went up to Eggy. And when we come to Eggy, Eggy bought a house, and it was Handel who helped him to, get papers out. And for Eggy couldn't read, so Eggy always help Handel always help Peggy to do his writing and so on. So we got a big, lovely room on Lister Street and Mornington Street. And we stayed there until we moved from there and and go to Rusholme, where Handel rented a house in Rusholme. A little, how much? It was 2 bedroom, but it was a little house rented. We rented from a woman, £5 a week, and that was it. And we stayed there until we got this house, and then we moved down here. So that is our life. So we moved down here in 1966, the December, and we are here until today.
So, based on, you know, your experiences of when you came here to the UK, did it live up to the expectation of what you'd been told back home in Jamaica about what to expect when you first got here?
No, dear. You know, because it's only the weather. They told us how the weather would be cold and so on. So when I came, the weather was very cold. And then I start to work the April.
What did you do work-wise? What was your first job when you
I
got
worked
here?
in the hospital.
Okay.
And I've worked in the hospital until I left.
What did you do in the hospital? What was your first role?
My first job was nursing auxiliary, where I nurse old geriatric patients, men and women. And then I stayed in that until about 6.5 years. And between the geriatrics, I do general nursing, surgical nursing, like working on the general ward over on the big nursing hospital, and working on the surgical ward. And then after I've left, I was expecting a baby, and I have Uncle Andrew. After having Uncle Andrew, I went back to work, and I stayed now on Burton House for about another 4 years. And after that, I went, the hospitals had gone into trust. So there was, Withington Hospital was the nursing hospital, and Withington Hospital and Withingshaw Hospital, they were under the, what trust, I don't remember what. But then I went to Ancoats, which was in the trust of Cromsall, and so on.
So throughout this period then, you were still sending, both you and Grandad were sending money back home for the rest of the children to come over one
at a time. So you want to know they come. Well, your mom came the first, for we tried to get her over. And she came, I think, in 62. And after that, Claude and Auntie Audrey came. And then after they came now, they were at Lister Street. And we moved from Lister Street to Rusholme. And then we were still here when Uncle Billy and Uncle George came here. And from thence, yes, Uncle Keith was the last one that came, because he was almost, time was running out for him. And they said if he don't come at certain time, we can't get him and all this. So we tried to, and he came.
You had your experiences in Jamaica, but then you come here to the UK. Being a young black family back then in the 60s, what was it like for you guys living in Manchester? How were you received by the Manchester community at that point in time?
Well, we did not mix very well. We did not mix with us being church people. There were lots of black people, especially from, well, my district, from my cousins. So, but you know, well, I can't say you know, for you would know. Jamaicans on a whole, they don't like to see their one another prosper. It's not like they would see anything going good for anybody, and they would introduce it to you like a good job or so. Because my husband came and he was not liked even with my own relatives that were here, because they always have this idea that they were better off, you know.
And had they been here longer in the UK?
Not long.
But they felt like they were cut above the rest compared to you guys.
Yeah, they felt that way.
Why do you think that was?
Ignorant. And because they couldn't read. For in the first place, Elliot couldn't read. And he was one of the ones that was so terrible. But the good thing, William came first, but he lived in Derby. Mm-hmm. And that's far from, Derby from Manchester. But Elliot was always jealous of, well, from he was in Jamaica, I was jealous of Handel.
Did you feel a sense of community within the church families then, instead? Were they happy times for you guys?
Well, the church was always kept in houses, like front rooms and so. So when you go to church, you would see, and they were from different islands or so. So when they see you and you greet one another and you're gone, and you meet again and you greet one another and gone. But it was only like from work to home to church, from work to home. You go to work at night and you come home at night, you go to your bed and that sort of way. Oh, my dear boy. It was terrible.
What about racism? Did you ever experience any racism?
I experienced racism, but it was mainly in the hospital that I worked. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it, most of them were geriatrics. We had to just grunt and bear. It doesn't matter what they call us, it doesn't matter what they do to us. We have to look at it as if they are geriatrics, but they were dementia.
Dementia like Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Yes. So you have to just...
So you have to get away with it in a sense.
You have to take it as it comes, because we know that that's what we were told. Mm-hmm. They are ill, they don't understand what they are doing, and that's what it gives. That goes with the job. So that's it. Mm-hmm. All we have to do is try not to get licked down, that we can't move. And that was it.
Quickly before we draw to a close, I just want to ask you, because I know over the years, even me growing up with you guys, we always hear about these legends within the church black community in Manchester, where the stories, and I remember a story that, I can't remember if it was you or my mum told me about. Was it the first black lady who got a driver's license, who used to drive the church bus?
Oh, Sister Banton.
I think that was the one.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me about her and how significant it was during that period for her to be able to drive?
Yeah, she used to drive a a van
Mm-hmm.
and pick up all the Sunday school children from that goes to Claremont Road Church.
Mm-hmm.
She had a son that was in the army. But the thing about Miss Banton, you know, she was a kind woman. She used to igloo, buy and sell. She'd have sell every God Almighty thing you meet. And then she used to take the church, some of the church people, to the various places where they're going. But they'll have to pay. She never drive it now. When she just pass her test, she up and down. When she meet the police and she knows she on the wrong lane. You imagine you're driving people and they will stop her. And the first thing she hang out her through the window, they ask, she no call the police, them police. She call them copy. For back home, I saw them call police, you know. Every police a corporal. Whether you this join the force or not, you a corporal. So that I respect she they give them, you know. She knows say she wrong. For she not supposed to do this so. And she hang her head, they pretend, they ask for the place. Copy, could you put me, copy, could you? And then copy, frighten out my heart. For when he look and see saying about wolf and a foolish people behind her. And then after copy direct her and send her around, she be gone. But that's what she used to do. But she was very, you know, very kind. Another thing is, she will trust everybody who they go on the van.
Mm-hmm.
But me say, when interest and come out, you're dead. What? We go about convention, Lord Jesus. We go down pan one way the God. Lord, but we stupid. It's only God just carry us. We were going to Birmingham at one convention. She pack up everybody. Most of them.
How many would have been in these vehicles?
Lord Jesus,
church people were living?
me not count myself, I no know.
Are we saying 10, 15?
Which van you know they hold 10, 15? I must say 15. It gone down, but when Miss Pantan would have pack how much fun right here, and they tell you how much family, and then they go with every picnic for a convention, then they go to Brownstone, Birmingham.
So you'd be travelling from Manchester all the way to Birmingham?
Yeah, on the motorway.
Okay.
Right? And she be a one sister right up a seal, a one dry cleaner that they clean every clothes we go at the convention. So when she go up at that the place a seal, she fi stop and fi call the dry cleaners. And then she fi tie them for them can't hold in a the van, 5 van too full. So she go and tie and put pan. She go and tie and put pan the top.
The top of the van, even
top of the van.
going down the motorway as well.
Me say, one of the time, you think of 1 or 2 times, you see his clothes, that's for some time, then they hang you up, same way in the cellophane. And sometimes you look, you see, that in the breeze, and then the hacks are who I want this, and well, he gone pan the motorway, see the girl on there, and I suppose Sister Banton, Lord God. Lord Jesus, brother, that the woman, God bless her, poor thing. She was a good woman.
So it seems like you had some really good memories.
So
for the convention.
one of the time she go down at Birmingham. At the same time she carry down the heap of people, Sister Simmons and the whole of them. And the heap of clothes and cellophane. Lord Jesus, then they complain, Lord Jesus, I must have me shouldn't give up my frock because the whole eye The whole of me frock this and the whole of me frock this and the whole of me suit and this. And when she come out now, she was expecting to go to one of the houses to get change. So when she wait, everybody know if it change, anyway. You don't know where she run go and she ain't get one hot. Make out. They had make out dog candy. You wouldn't know what candy mean.
What's that?
One material, one very thin, stiff material.
Oh, okay.
But when you go in the water, it becomes soft. And then when it dry, like you have to then take it, make one broad hat. They always use it, make wet knot. One broad cinti. So good on the dear dressing dress come out. With one frock. It mash up. It look like all the rain from Manchester. Done pan that the frock. It mash up, the hot mashy crease. So the sister Makala, she always carry down fear. Make me see. 1, 2, 3 gal. Anyway, in care, when he go down a Birmingham now and dress come out, Lord Jesus, Sister Makala, when carry down her 3 children and herself, but she tell herself she wouldn't even fit here till she come up back. When Sister Bantan tip out, Sister Makala go say, and where you dey go, you can't go nowhere, so. So Sister Bantan, so what you mean me can't go nowhere? Say, no, sir. Where you go dress? He say, no go nowhere if you go dress and sit down at the van. He say, no, sir, you can't go nowhere, sir. Then where you dey think? How you think you dey go so, Sister Bantan? What you mean when they go so? When me been name, like, remember one something I name Bantan, she name. But like she da say, when me been name Esme Bantan, me no count like un. Only since me say me come na church, me dey come mix up with no for one of me companion, Lord God. What Sister Bantan do, sister lady? Sister Max say, no, me no care what you tell me, you can't go nowhere, so come me carry you. Come me carry you go one house, because if me get one iron, fi iron out you frack, Lord Jesus. Me say if you then the 2 sisters in the churchyard, you couldn't believe. Sister Bantan. But that's what it used to be, we always have some joke.